My old man drove to Walmart on a motorcycle wearing nothing but a pair of Fruit of the Looms. I shit you not.
That sounds amazing.
It's why he didn't care. He put on a bike helmet and a pair
there's a
of
helmet law here.
gray boxer briefs and rode that shit to the Walmart.
Hell yeah. This is Jess Ott. He is probably, actually, no, not probably, he is definitely the most interesting man on the face of the planet, or at least on the face of the planet that I know of. I love you, Jess, and thank you for coming on our show.
Whatever he tells you is a complete and total fabrication.
Yeah, for the most part. So how's it going, Jess?
Just peachy keen, partying hard all the time. I'm about to die. This is my last semester of graduate school, inshallah. I'm taking 2 7,000 level classes on the same day. So I'm in school on Monday from 10:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night.
I have no idea what that reality is like, sir. Sounds miserable.
There's a lot of chicken sandwiches involved. a lot of fresh, because, you know, I work up on the government street. You have to go one way and then come back. This is Louisiana.
That's true.
Which, if not for LSU, would be the world's largest collection of doctors' offices in the United States. So anyway, 15 minutes is a short drive here.
That's very true.
So from here to the place I work, you're still looking at, and that's not even talking about College Drive or College Minefield.
Yeah, so Obama had come through, and even he said that he was going to give us money or put some sort of funding up to try and get our roads fixed. He was that bad. And we closed the interstates for him. What the fuck?
Yeah. People were talking about that. There were a lot of non-ironic thanks Obamas that day.
Exactly. I was actually really pleased to see that. I mean, whether or not anything happens, I think it was just a really cool gesture.
Even the president is like, Jesus
Christ. Yeah, even the president's
on,
like,
fam.
fuck, really?
Let's get real about your lives.
Yeah, so when I try to explain to people that aren't from here how bad the traffic is, they don't get it.
You know, people talk about Los Angeles traffic, which is horrific to be sure, but it's because you're trapped. You're trapped on the interstate. Here, everywhere, it's just a few nodes of land that haven't yet sunk into the Gulf that we continue to stack concrete on. Like a couple thousand years from now, if they have an Armageddon-like environmental crisis and they have to tunnel to the center of the earth, if they do it anywhere, they're going to find concrete pylons at like a depth of 4 to 5 miles, because we just keep putting them, just stacking them. They keep compressing.
So what do you think about let me see, there's some people from New Orleans that have gone over to, was it Denmark or something? They were looking at their seawall. To basically, this was after the whole Katrina thing, when after New Orleans flooded, they went over there to take a look at that seawall, but they ended up deciding that it wasn't cost effective to buy it and put it in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
It's ridiculous.
They say that a platypus is an animal designed by committee. Louisiana is a platypus designed by the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes.
I found this out, in the horrible kludge of stuff I'm taking. There's actually a boat that goes up and down the Mississippi River. The Army Corps of Engineers is on the boat. It is a steamboat and is required by Louisiana law to ply the river a certain period of time every year. And people are entitled to get on the boat and complain.
Seriously?
To the Army Corps, because they're people in charge of all the locks, the Mr. Go, and down there at the Wrigley's, because that's monitored. Because geologically, the Mississippi River should have lapped over into the Atchafalaya and changed bases, which of course would be catastrophic to the state and the rest of the country, because the second and fifth biggest ports in America would suddenly become the second and fifth biggest truck stops in America.
Yeah.
So they have people who are in charge of maintaining the locks that dictate the level of the river here. And there are 37, 38 different interests arguing for it, because the shrimpers want the water to be high. The crawfishers want the water to be low. Morgan City says you can't raise it this high or we'll all drown. People in New Orleans want the water to be as low as it possibly can get.
Of course.
And they all get on this boat every year, and it's a bunch of aged people making the
same
same
is it possible
argument.
for just anybody to go?
Any Louisiana citizen can get on this boat.
We need to get tickets or whatever we need to do. We need to go do this and just bitch about some random stupid thing. I think that needs to happen.
I can only imagine. We'll probably be killed by the police.
You think so?
I don't. It goes through all of this
I imagine
crap,
so.
like old False River and all that, because there are a lot of people with their serious livelihoods knit up in here, and them ding 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 ding.
I know I've got a banjo recently, and I do live in Livingston. So what does that say?
People who,
I went to Walmart the other day in a pair of slippers because I wanted to fit in.
I almost got beat up in Watson because I wore Crocs that had leather facings on them.
Oh God! Can you please do the dullard? Can you please do the dullard?
All right, I'll do the... So, in my hometown of Watson, which is a terrible, terrible, benighted place, riven with troglodytes, there's a barbecue restaurant. And I know how, people talk about barbecue. The best places are these always little tar paper shit shacks with some guy with 9 fingers working the pit, turning stuff over. He's been doing it. They haven't washed any of their kitchen equipment in 2 decades.
Well, yeah, that's what gives it the flavor.
Right. So it's called Firehouse BBQ, and to my eternal shame, the barbecue is perfect. It's delicious. You can cut it with a spoon. It's magical. They have the right barbecue sauce. It's predominantly tomatoes and brown sugar. If your barbecue sauce is something other than tomatoes and brown sugar, you failed at barbecue sauce.
I like a good vinegary or acidic barbecue sauce.
That's all right. This is America. You have the freedom to be miserably wrong about barbecue sauce here. I don't want to hear about that mustard crap. This is like, we got some vinegar, put enough tomatoes in it to turn it red. Put vinegar on it. Go to England, get some fish and chips, put some malt vinegar.
I like vinegar on just about everything.
That is racist.
I know it is.
Anyway, the barbecue sauce there is perfect. And I'm going in there to get some of this perfect barbecue because it's cheap and it's right next to my house. But I have to put on costume because it's right next to the Walmart. I can't go in there wearing, pants and leather shoes like some uppity white person from Baton Rouge because they would fall on me and rip me to strips like an army.
Like I said, I wore some house shoes, some basically they're little more than a bit of bottom sole and cloth, and that's pretty much it. To Walmart, and I felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
I fit in. These were my people.
So I put on a tank top and a pair of mesh shorts that you would get in any Walmart anywhere. They're put together by some poor child in Vietnamese sweatshop who's probably dying. I felt terrible. I put it on and I got some Crocs. I didn't buy these Crocs. I did not go out with a purpose looking, say, you know what? I really need a plastic board to strap to my foot that I don't care about, that I can wear around the house. And also, I'll have to butter it every now and then.
You do have to butter your Crocs. Don't forget about that.
I got them. They're from my parents. Stop judging me. That is terrible. But in like a terrible like concession to human decency, these Crocs have what is, I assume, like faux leather on the top, so they don't just look like somebody melted down an ocean of
they're
Coke
the high
bottles.
high class Crocs. They're upper crust Crocs.
For some value,
you're king of the coonasses. It's fun.
For some value of Croc.
Yeah.
I wore that. I went in there. Now, the Firehouse BBQ is a hive of activity at all times because people in Watson don't recognize quality, and if it tastes good, they won't pay for it, and if it tastes bad, they don't have to pay for it, and their palates only respond to salt, pepper, ketchup, and burnt. I went in there anyway, but they don't even have a menu.
No, it's blackened. It's blackened.
It's burnt. I know blackened is a thing. It's deliberate. Burnt, no, it's got a scale. You have to crack it with a spoon, chip it off.
Oh, an overcooked steak is the worst.
Oh, yeah.
It is the worst.
People up north complain about having to chip the ice off their windshields. Try having to chip a few layers off your steak before you have to eat it.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take ice any day of the week. But this place doesn't even have a menu. It's just got poster board on the wall in a weird place that says whatever it was they decided to cook that day. And you don't go up to the counter or anything. You just go in there and yell. And who do you yell at? You have to pick one of the 4 fattest people in the building. And you're thinking, well, that's probably full of fat people. And you'd be right. But there's jillions of fat people. But the proprietors are, to paraphrase Scarface, high on their own supply. And let me just say that they couldn't all get on an elevator at once.
These are not tiny people.
So, and they could be anywhere. They could be sitting, talking with somebody who came to the restaurant. Everybody knows everybody. They could be sitting there. It could be outside, having
sweet
a
people.
smoke. It could be in the bathroom. So you just go in there and then yell what you want until you see someone write it down. You just keep going.
Fantastic.
You just yell in the meat. And then they'll write it down, and then somebody will look back there and be like, "We have farm side fit, bapkin on pork chop, on fit in the front." And then you just stand there looking poleaxed until you remember you want a drink, and then they give you this styrofoam tub to fill up at the thing, and you stand there, and somebody will take your money and hand you a paper sack that looks like it contains a dead cat, but it has delicious barbecue in it. So I'm standing around in there, trying not to look at anything or be subsumed in a flood of pork fat. And I'm waiting around, and there's this guy in there. And oh my God, is he a guy? He doesn't look like he was born. He is pale white of a hemipteran maggot, like a bee larvae, fresh from the hecatomb, just pouring out this glabrous, pasty whiteness. He's covered in meat sweat. He's got the prognathous jaw. I can see both of his lower teeth sticking out. And he's giving me the stink eye. And I'm like, he's got to be the hair. It's got to be.
Just so everyone is not aware, because there's no cameras going on. Jess, I've always lovingly called you Big Jesus. Yes, I love you, man. You're Jesus.
Oh yeah, this is probably the gayest thing I'm going to say today. But the waitresses in the D'Angelo's by my office that I go into all the time, they just stop. We are just so jealous that you have that natural ombre, and I'm like, I don't want to tell them it's not a natural ombre, it's balayage.
I have no idea what any of that is.
Because, well, when your hair is brown on top and blonde
I see,
in the bottom,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
that's an ombre or a shadow. And they think that this is natural. It's not. I have a brilliant hairdresser who double fists 2 piles of bleach paste and threads it through, and it looks natural, but it's not. But they don't know any better, and I'm not going to tell them. But like I said, something that will win you an accolade, earned or not, in Baton Rouge will get you tied to the back of a Ford F-150 in Watson.
This is very true. I grew up in Watson. It's not a fun place.
So I'm looking at this guy, and he keeps looking down. And I look down, and then he looks back up, and then I look down, and he looks down, and we both look back up. And I'm like, it's these shoes. I'm wearing Crocs that are too fancy for the Firehouse BBQ.
Wait. What was he wearing?
Okay, so he was not wearing so much as somebody had draped this faded LSU tank top over his body where it had become plastered by the meat sweat. He was wearing this, could have been the same set of mesh shorts though, just like basketball shorts. Like, you could go to sleep in it. Like, decent human beings wouldn't wear it in public, but I'm wearing it in public. I'm not playing basketball. Nobody's buying that. My old man drove to Walmart on a motorcycle wearing nothing but a pair of Fruit of the Looms. I shit you not.
That sounds amazing.
It's why he didn't care. He put on a bike helmet and a pair
there's
of
a helmet law here.
gray boxer briefs. and rode that shit to the Walmart.
Hell yeah.
To buy a float trigger for the toilet.
Yeah, and I'm sure they let him in the Walmart too.
But no one gave a crap. It was shorts. Everybody knew who he was.
Somewhere, if you can find it, somewhere on People of Walmart, your dad is floating around in a pair of tidy whities and a bike helmet.
Maybe God knows. In Watson, People of Walmart is called Employee of the Month.
Yes, this is very true.
Also, double fun fact: my dad has a mullet, so imagine that. He also has a full face chin mustache like Paul Tuttle. So you can imagine that Crocs, gray boxer briefs, and a motorcycle helmet bursting into the Walmart to buy a flush valve.
That's so very Livingston Parish.
Which is pretty much the story of my life.
You see, the only thing that would make it more Livingston Parish is if he was using the float valve somehow in a meth lab.
He tried to make a bong out of it or
something like that. That would be even more Livingston Parish. I think it would be the only way you could get the complete package.
Do a one-hitter shake and bake on the motorcycle inside a float. It's already got a handle and a chain on it, son.
You know why they used to call it crank, right?
Yeah, put it in the crank.
Crankcase, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we know all about that. We got a whole wall of it at the office. We have a whole wall devoted to just people who've been cripplingly injured in meth lab explosions. So when tours come, the little Catholic school kids come through in their plaid skirts and pants, and we're like, this is where the future is for meth addicts, children. They're going to graft your ass skin to your face, and you're going to look like a fish person till Jesus comes back.
That sounds like so many of my family members. I had one of my uncles who's convinced that there is no way that an atheist exists. So I had a post on Facebook. It was something about being an atheist. And no, it was being an atheist and a left leaning in the Bible Belt, and it's like picture Johnny Depp running away, and there's like a big crowd chasing him
from the pirates.
Yeah, from the pirates.
Yeah,
and so I posted that up, and he goes, well, you're neither, son, and I was like, dude, I haven't talked to you since I was like 5. How the fuck do you know who I am?
Oh yeah, isn't that the best thing ever when you just write something on Facebook and people from the past show up like Jacob Marley?
Yeah, those are
rattling
fun.
chains in your face. It's like, hey, I invited you to the barbecue,
right?
But now you got to come over here and defend Donald Trump because apparently it lashes you like a salt lick in your ass.
So what do you think about the political candidates? Where are you standing?
Jesus Christ
For president?
Oh God, no. No, under no circumstances.
No, you don't think it would be the totalitarian? I can't think if I can think of the name of the type of government that's run by religion.
Theocracy.
There we go.
Like actual Jesus running for president.
Yeah. Do you think it would be it would be the theocracy that everybody, all the Christians, sort of hope for?
No, I can't because it would be worse because he would get assassinated. He didn't have any power,
I know he would.
And he got assassinated like right off the bat. He made 33, started doing crap, and people already they had him on a watch list from 12.
Yep.
He would get murdered and replaced by his vice president, who would be doubtless Franklin Graham or some terrible ass crap like that. Actually, I don't know. I can't claim to speak for it.
Well, also, I mean, just look at like his socialist beliefs. Like he was very, very socialist. If you look at his beliefs, and everybody, I guess there's this mental.
Well, the early Christian church before it got co-opted by Constantine to give a shot in the arm to an otherwise fracturing empire. It was kind of like a suicide cult because there was no like set doctrine. People didn't get it. And they were just bros who would come up and give you their shit. They're like, hey, you need this? I don't need it. I'm going to heaven in like a week. Jesus is coming. Here, you can have it.
Oh, it's what is the star people that killed themselves?
Like the Jonestown, the Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. That's it. Yeah, those people.
That's pretty much what they would go out and just throw shade at mobs until they got beaten to death.
That sounds like fun.
Which would be great because you wouldn't get beaten to death now. You can go throw shade. They call it the Westboro Baptist Church, and they've monetized it.
That's very true.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't vote for Jesus for president.
No, I don't think it'd be a good idea.
It would be stupid. It would be goofy as hell.
So what do you think? What do you think if who do you think has a better shot?
Who do I think is going to win? Well, it's still a year away. People like to forget that it's a year away.
A lot happens in a year. It really does.
I said this a year ago, though. It's going to be, whoever comes out of the Republican clown car Holocaust primary is going is
Republican
clown car Holocaust
primary. Wow.
Is going to be a desiccated piece of beef jerky. And people like kind of ribbed me. They were talking about how Donald Trump was secretly a Hillary Clinton plant. I didn't believe it 2 years ago. Now I kind of do, because he has systematically cut the nuts off anybody that had a chance to be like Jeb Bush got nut cut, kicked out. He's almost dropped off. His number one endorsement is Lindsey Graham, who also has dropped out to endorse Jeb Bush. And it's just sad crap, because the Republican Party has courted the know-nothing religious wing of the right since Nixon, and now that's all they have left, which is really covering up the fact that they've succeeded at getting nearly everything they ever wanted. They're kind of like at winery position, where they're trying to figure out how to get that last 2% of the juice out of the grape.
Yep.
And now they can't get it anymore, and they're having a what the fuck moment.
Well, I think in siding with the whole religious right, they've pretty much shot themselves in the foot.
Exactly.
They're dying. And there's a lot of ideas on the Republican side that I agree with. If you look at some of the Republican ideas, I agree with quite a few of their ideas, but I can't. If you identify as a Republican here, you tend to identify as, I don't know, a KKK member or somebody that's, fucking deeply religious, that's, wants all gays to burn or something.
We're not all KKK, but we're number one with the KKK. But you're in a situation where Donald Trump, who is a billionaire New York real estate mogul, is being held up as this populist figure because he can just say anything.
That's true. Do you think he's actually electable?
Electable? No.
No,
the polling is terrible. I said that in the beginning. If he gets it, that's game, set, match, because if you want to look at statistics, the electoral map is already, in a nationwide election, is already bad for Republicans because they own the cornfields, which is why I could talk about this for forever and a day.
That's fine. We have forever and a day.
But, the current representative democracy we have now with the Senate, everything I want to do, I have to ask the opinion of 6 dudes in a cornfield, how they feel about it, and the fact that, 15,000 people in Kansas have the same electoral weight as several million in California and New York is ridiculous. But they didn't think about that, when they were figuring out how to get the tobacco crop in on time in 1778.
Exactly.
But no, Donald Trump looks very bad electorally, because he likes to tout his centrist appeal and how disillusioned Democrats who are tired of having their jobs taken by them damn dirty Mexicans.
Oh, come on, man. We'll put up the wall and all the jobs and everything will be back to normal.
You can't see it in sound, but I just want you to stop and imagine this face for a minute. I trust you on this.
It's fantastic.
Everybody gets it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
There's a.
You're gonna have to come back. Like I said, I want you and Daniel on, and we're gonna do once I get the studio built. Oh yes, I can. Yes, I can. If I have to put a mic and wire it to his shirt and get him hammered to do it, that's what I'll do. But I want him on the show.
It's gonna be eternal cringe.
I know. That's why I want it. It's gonna be so good.
I guess you
can. So good. If you like to cringe, you're gonna love the show.
You have to get. Oh, sweet holy Lord!
I know. Tell me that won't be epic.
It'll be terrible.
Yes.
It'll be like a fedora came to life.
Well, you watched B horror movies and laughed your tits off, I'm sure. So come on, that's what it is. It's a train wreck you can't look away from.
We're gonna go into that with the spirit of it's a B horror movie. This is a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
Men's rights activism.
Yes, I think so.
Sweet holy Lord.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go with that.
Sign it.
Yep.
Whatever.
So there's also a really old guy at work. I don't know. It's probably kind of rude to call him a really old dude, but he's an old dude compared to me.
There's nothing wrong with being old, man.
I know.
There's so much wrong with being old.
It sucks. It sucks a massive cock. Don't get old. Don't get old, folks. Don't get old. So there's this older dude, and he's bought it, the whole right-wing stuff, hook, line, and sinker. And other than that, he's a really cool guy. He's in the comic book movies and stuff like that. I want to have him on the show and try and convince him of global warming being a thing.
Oh my God.
That seems like an easy, really easy thing to turn him on.
You have to do that. The people in my office, like the whole firearms department, they take it in shifts. They run up on me in my office. Somebody will stand there, giving me a look. Hey, Jeff. Hey, yeah. Can you believe that? Expect you believe world getting hot? You know how cold it was yesterday? It's just a conspiracy. College people getting grants to write papers ain't nobody gonna read.
You sound like everyone in my family.
I can. It's I've lived it. I get the flashbacks, man. Sometimes I wake up at night and I get up screaming, and I'm just like, right to work. Have to take several scotches to calm down.
Yeah. That's. I think that's probably one of the biggest issues I have with working for my company is that they're Catholic. And I feel like if I say anything at all that is true to my actual beliefs or anything like that, that's a very easy way to get fired.
Oh, yeah. The week after I told them I was a communist, holy crap.
Oh, God, that had to be great.
They lost their mind. My boss's boss came into my office and talked to me for 20 minutes about how I needed to turn in my gun because I wasn't responsible enough to carry one.
Wow.
It was like, they thought I was going to hell. Like,
well, obviously you're going to hell, Jess. Like Ronald, that's what's going to make hell such a great place. Well, it's funny
because this guy is in charge of a scientific body, and he's cornered people in the break room to tell him about how he had to call a priest to have his house exorcised because his mother was hearing noises. She said she swore somebody was following her in the house. Somebody's in there.
Wow.
And I'm like, have you painted it haunt blue? Have you got some of that? They think it's a sky and they fly towards it. You feng shui it enough? Are there too many straight lines?
Yeah, you've got to worry about your energy flow.
Throw them a curve. The 108 demons of the I Ching.
Oh, but don't worry. I've got all of the products that can fix this.
Yeah, they can't move in straight lines. You just need to work a curve in there. You got an arguing door. That's obviously where the demons are at.
Well, that's obvious, man.
They didn't appreciate that.
That's
very
one thing
much.
my wife is kind of into that drives me nuts.
What?
She's into a lot of the spiritual side of things, and some of it's fine. Some of it I can agree with.
I thought you were about to talk about feng shui.
Oh, well, no, she's not into feng shui, but she's into attunement and healing energies and stuff like that. And it's just like, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Some Sailor Moon crystals hanging in your house.
Put it this way, every time it's mentioned, my bullshit clock or meter or whatever, it just explodes. There's just nothing left of it. As soon as somebody tries to claim any sort of tiny little bit of divine knowledge that no one else has or no one can prove, then I'm bullshit. Sorry, bullshit.
You haven't paid the $19.95 yet.
I know. I needed to pay the $19.95 to take their 6-month course or whatever it is to become this enlightened being. You
have to take the stress test.
Yeah.
You have to spend a month weeding potatoes on the boat in the ocean.
Well, yeah. There's actually a place in Colorado. My wife watches their show every Sunday. And it's all about, it's basically a hippie commune from like way back in the 60s. And they have this, I've listened to a little bit of what they have to say. Most of it's nonsense. Some of it makes a little bit of sense. And I've listened to their older stuff, what they used to say. Their older stuff is off the fucking deep end. But it seems like a cult, pretty much.
It's like some time cube.
Yeah, pretty much. You can actually go up there and work on their property in their commune for free and live there.
Kinky.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked up the time cube, Earl Ray's time cube? If you wanted to see some stream of consciousness insanity that makes you want to, leave this planet even more than you already did.
No.
It is delightful. KKK racism dressed up in quantum physics.
That sounds amazing.
Because the bro says that there are 6 simultaneous 24-hour days because of the time cube thing, and that is elucidated this quantum effect where causality no longer exists because it's not just one day, it's 6 days that happen at the same time. So nothing means anything. Also, Jesus wasn't a Jew.
No.
And it's cuckoo.
Well, I'm glad he knows that Jesus wasn't a Jew.
It's cuckoo pants. It's cuckoo pants, and it is very entertaining for an afternoon when you are drunk by yourself.
Yeah, I like the idea. But when I originally heard it about the light slit experiment and, you know, our observation of matter or whatever actually changes our reality. So, like, the power of positive thinking, that they buy into that shit.
Deepak Chopra.
And then I talked to an actual physicist about it. He worked for LSU. He used to come to our capital area Atheist and Agnostic Society meetings. But he did a lecture on, like, dark energy and stuff. And I was talking to him after his lecture. And he explained to me how how the particle actually works, and it's not our observation that it's like modifying anything. So I liked his explanation of it, because it was like, it can't be that just because we're aware of something that's because of the way it is. Like, there's some crazy fuckery afoot, but it's not like we can, you know, imagine a helicopter and just hold that thought in our head, and when we wake up in the morning, we'll have a fucking helicopter. Shit don't work that way.
No, what would you do with it anyway? You don't know how to fly a helicopter, you jackass. You wished for your own death.
Right. Or like, you know, okay, well, just imagine, just stay positive and imagine all of the money that could possibly be coming your way. You know what? I bet you poor people imagine having money quite a lot. Don't you?
Poor people
Where's their fucking money?
Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
Corporations being all corporation-y.
And they're a corporate. Yeah, fuck them.
Rasm-frasm. No, that stuff is goofy. It's goofy crap. People don't understand physics. They don't understand anything.
Can I have another beer?
Yeah. You want to time out? Let me go fetch one.
Yes. Oh, I was gonna go get it.
No, I'm gonna freshen up this rye while I'm at it.
Oh, you see, Jess. Jess, I love you. I know. You don't even know, man. Jess doesn't even know how much I love Jess. I don't know what that is either, man. Sorry, my knowledge of. Like, I enjoy poems, but memorizing all the structures and how they function is not something that's on my interest. That I can stick in my head.
Well, it's a new thing. It was a joke that this bro invented to make fun of these increasingly complicated French poetic forms. You know, a doubledactyl has 2 stanzas. The second stanza has to have 1 6-syllable word in it. It's got to start with nonsense.
Yeah, see, that's why I can't.
Well, he made a fake one.
All right.
That has 4 stanzas in it. The first 2 lines of every stanza are the same, but the third and fourth are the same in every stanza, and the 5th and 6th are made up with the words of the first and third stanzas.
Sounds like cheating to me, sir.
Up.
It sounds like a pussy's way out.
It's supposed to sound ridiculous. Yeah. Because it's just the same 2 lines, then 2 different lines, then 2 lines made of them all mashed up, and then the last stanza is all the words mashed up together, and you can get real stupid clever with it. But
we play that in the office. Like when we send messages back and forth on IM, and we'll get, you know, some stupid sentence that, you know, Florida Man. I love Florida Man. I predict him as one drunk superhero. And I love Florida Man. He's amazing.
Florida Man is a bastard.
He is. But I love him. I love him so much. He brings so much entertainment to my life. But anyway, they'll say something like, you know, Florida Man stuck a tuna fish up his ass or something crazy like that.
Florida Man found trying to copulate with anaconda on a golf course.
Yes, that's actually probably an article. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I would just giggle to myself at Florida Man's crazy antics.
Florida Man shoots at pit bull, hits self, grandmother.
Right, but we'll take those sentences and like just chop them all to hell and send them back and forth to each other because we're bored as shit and no one actually works at their job. They just fuck around on the internet.
Yeah, you pretty much described the spirit of the paradiddle. There's a really good one about Donald Rumsfeld that actually makes sense. If your paradiddle makes sense, it means you tried too hard. Mm-hmm. But people do that because it's poetry and everybody. Yeah. The poetry is a dick measuring contest.
Deep, man. It's deep.
Look it up. It's hilarious. Shut up. But yeah, that's what I've been on.
All right. So you said that you there was something you'd said before. You said that you came out to your boss as a communist. Do you still consider yourself a communist? And why do you think it got such a bad rap?
Well, most people don't understand what it is.
I agree with that entirely.
People don't even understand that there's different flavors of it.
Yeah, that's also true.
Because they start talking about Marxism. Marx was a patsy. Exactly. Because I am against the proletariat. Technically, I suppose what I am is a Leninist. Mm-hmm. Because I believe there needs to be a giant state entity in charge of doing things. Because the combative form of government we have is we don't need it. I think we need to abolish the states because they're too small.
Well, anything that's like one thing that drives me crazy down here is all the patriotism, like the super patriotism. I hate it so much. Who cares? Who cares what country you're from? I don't. Who cares what state you're from? Oh, we're from the South, and the South shall rise again, friends.
Sit back down quickly, wheezing.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand. Who cares where you're from? Like, we're all kind of people on the planet. If we can figure this shit out, we can all live here kind of peacefully.
Everybody has to have something that they're better at than everybody else. And some people, the sad sacks, all they have is being American, which is better than everywhere else.
That's true. America is the number one country.
We are party hard central.
That's true. But
George Washington and Adams and Madison and Hancock and all those goobers understood very well that the average Joe Blow American citizen has no business governing himself at all.
Very true.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carlin put it best. He was talking about, like, 50%. Just think about, you're smarter than 50% of the population if you're average. Just think about how many people are dumber than you. Like, that's a shit ton of people.
But communism is the least dictatorial autocracy. Mm-hmm. Because you generally end up being run by intelligentsia. But at this point, I'd be happy just having people who were singing off the same hymn sheet, where it's not too... Or we could get a parliamentary system. I'm not a big fan of the parliamentary system. I think it'd be better than one we have.
Yeah, I think we're I don't know. I'm not happy with our government. We don't seem to be effective at doing anything.
Well, it's designed to be ineffective because it's back in the day, because... You hear this a lot from libertarians and the Rand Paul wing of the Republican Party, where they think
those are fun.
Everybody's going to be Daniel Boone and go out on the mountain and build a homestead and kill
Most people are idiots, folks. They don't have the ability to do that.
And kill a bear and grow crops.
Although I would watch a TV show watching them try.
Yeah, this rugged individualism thing is over with. Like, you get people... 40 minutes away from a 7-Eleven and they can't buy a loaf of bread. That's it. That's game over for them. And you know what? That's a feature. That's a feature of our system. We don't have to go out and kill a wild animal with our teeth. I just saw The Revenant. There was an Onion article about how somebody claimed that Leonardo DiCaprio gets raped by a bear.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was a joke, but then I went to see it. He damn near got raped by that bear.
I heard the bear scene was pretty fucking
There
brutal.
was some sexual tension in that bear mauling.
Well, that's the thing about, I was talking to Jonathan about, he didn't seem to want to engage at all in conversation, but I was talking to him about it, about how, cats, like, that kill, that's just what they do, they eat meat, they'll kill you instantly, like, they go for the neck, they kill you. Whereas bears, they eat all kinds of shit, and they're just going to chew on you for a while. Whether you die in the process or not, they don't really give a shit.
They're just going to roll. That's why they call it mauling.
Yeah.
Just roll it around. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, though. They don't realize how much of this crap is set to self-perpetuate.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the interstate. Mm-hmm. We've got one. The reason ours blows is because the Louisiana governor raids the fund for it to fix whatever budget shortfall he's got.
We do the same thing with public transportation. Everybody asks why public transportation here sucks a giant donkey dick is just because they're stealing money from it.
Public transportation here is doomed anyway, because how are you going to have 15-minute segments to get from downtown Baton Rouge to uptown, like from Jefferson to downtown? That's a 20-minute drive. How are you going to have 15-minute intervals for a bus to come?
That's true.
Because by the time the next bus comes to pick somebody up, the first bus hasn't got there yet. And
I was looking at taking the bus, and I had to walk from my nearest bus station from where I previously lived. I had to walk 2 miles just to get to the bus station.
Yeah. That's what they talk about. John Bell Edwards is going to build high-speed rail, which is a noble ambition. But from New Orleans to Baton Rouge,
I was going to say that's the one between those. Yep.
He's going to have to build a 14-acre parking lot.
Yeah.
For people. It's just going to be traffic, people trying to get to the train station, and then they're going to have to get a car once they get to Baton Rouge, because unless you're going to the very seething pit of downtown, nowhere is within walking distance of anywhere in Baton Rouge.
What do you think about the idea of self-driving cars? I think we'll be the very last to adopt if it ever catches on.
I don't know. I read a pretty cool article about that the other day where they're going to have to train self-driving cars to hit people.
Really?
Which is why they're not, because there's going to be a time when the choice is between hit somebody or hit 30 people.
Yeah, and the way they needs to be able to make that decision.
Yeah, it's like either this or driving us.
Awesome. Yeah. We're teaching cars to run over people.
So they don't think
sometimes this world is amazing.
Well, they think it's going to not take off because of that, because sooner or later somebody's self-driving car is going to lose its mind and leap onto the sidewalk.
Of course, and even though it's a very small, minor infraction as opposed to the good it's going to do by taking accidents away in general, it's something that people are going to latch onto and eventually shut the system down.
It could happen.
It's possible.
Don't know. Uber is already halfway there.
I love Uber. Uber's amazing.
People take Uber here every time.
I know.
Sean
Uber's amazing. I love Uber. I love it.
Just get in some guy's car, give him $20, and he'll drive you wherever.
I wish I had more money to Uber everywhere, but I don't have enough money for all that shit.
I don't know.
And I do enjoy my motorcycle, especially here in Baton Rouge where traffic is balls, but it's wonderful on a motorcycle if you can get around people.
It's wonderful in a Malibu if you don't give a crap about consequences or speed limits.
This is very true.
People, I go to San Diego almost every year for the con. I got some friends over there. I drove over there and started to freak people out because I was driving this car. I just drove like I did in Baton Rouge.
Oh, no.
They were getting
get a little antsy, did
butterflies in the stomach. What are you doing? What are you just trying to put your? Are you gonna put on your signal? Are you gonna signal?
Fuck no! Welcome to Louisiana, bitch.
What the fuck? Signal? He's lucky I don't get on the shoulder.
Yeah, that was one time I really had to reconsider. This is like way back when I first started getting into bikes. I passed a guy on the sidewalk, doing like 70. And then after I did that, I was, I got to thinking at the stoplight next, and I'm just like, that was probably really stupid, and I should not have done that. But I did it.
It was the right decision at the time.
It was the right decision at the time.
You just go for it.
I did.
This is before they started putting stoplights on the interstate. Gomers.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Everything is run by Gomers. That's all there is to it.
I'm still trying to figure out what they did. I live on Essen. I'm still trying to figure out what they did there. It doesn't seem like it's improved at all.
Yeah, no, they added a lane, which immediately became filled with people driving too slow.
Yep.
In the left lane.
Yep.
They can't figure it out.
I know they can't.
Essen over there, that's like the solar plexus of the Baton Rouge interstate.
I know.
One thing goes wrong, everything's paralyzed.
Well, I'll go down Essen from my place to get to work. But when it comes to coming home, fuck that. I go all the way down to hit College. Take College to the interstate all the way back down around to the end of Essen on the other side of the interstate. I'm out in my apartment's right there, so that's why I have to. I'll go way out of my way just to not have to sit in traffic.
Oh yeah, everything. Given directions in this place sounds like something from Harry Potter. You're gonna have to go to platform 9 3/4.
Oh, especially downtown. Trying to get people around downtown, it's impossible.
Speak the password. You're gonna have to. Give it to the Wicker Man. Don't look him in the eye. A baboon will appear. If you best him in wrestling, he will give you the directions to the Schlitz and Giggles.
Hey, I do like Schlitz and Giggles.
Everybody, that's why you have to wrestle a baboon to get directions to it. They can't just be giving up directions for it. A lot of people, that's what the farmer's market is. You think it started out as a farmer's market? It's just people trying to get to Schlitz and Giggles stopped and set up a barter system.
Yeah,
growing taters in that soil, packing the sound wall behind the interstate.
Oh yeah, that was another thing I've done. I've ridden on the levee on my motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was probably dumb too.
It sounds like I tried to ride a motorcycle one time.
It's dangerous.
I imagine that's kind of like what riding a dragon would be like.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It really is. Especially if you ride it like all the time.
Because it was a Yamaha Roadstar, about a 900-pound, huge thing. But I was balanced on it like a hefty bag full of hair, praying to God I wouldn't lay it over and crush my leg into meatloaf.
Yeah, it's not so much the other traffic. I think I do worry about. That does concern me. The other people on the road. And a lot of times I guess earlier on when I started riding bikes, the bigger threat to to myself on a bike was me. As I've gotten older and more used to the bike, now it's just no big deal. So I'm not an idiot on the bike.
Yeah, I don't even.
I'm over it. So it's just kind of like whatever.
Now, when I was working in the photo lab and I had to collate all those accident things, there's two things that I didn't want to see: a motorcycle accident. I didn't want to see somebody hit a horse, because I don't know if a horse is a pressurized sack of blood and poop, and if it's so much as
like fun.
Gets looked at by a car, it explodes.
It's a flesh bomb.
It's horrific.
I imagine so.
And they get struck by vehicles all the time. It's the same thing with motorcycles. It's like, oh, that dude's mangled. After a year or two, we started getting in trouble. People come in and tour the lab, and I'd be in the back collating the accident scene. I'd be like, that bitch is dead.
Yeah. No, I think that's one reason I did well, is I'm naturally a very paranoid and kind of skittish person. So in riding a bike, I'm paranoid as fuck that everybody's trying to kill me.
And sometimes they actually are. And
sometimes
trying
it works
you.
out, and so I've already got a plan in my head for how to get around it. So I think that's a I don't know, a defense mechanism that has worked in my favor.
Yeah, Baton Rouge is a crazy place.
I know. I live here.
It's like swamp people. Every building is the Beverly Hillbillies in Baton Rouge.
I think what I find amazing in working in a high tech field is the number of people that work in a high tech field that are absolutely useless.
Yeah,
like dumber than a sack of dirt, and it's like, how did you get this job?
Because everything over here is handshaking and back patting.
Yeah, it's all who you know. What I've realized, it's all who you're friends with. So I do a better job at work not doing any work and talking to everybody that is, around the office, because I make good relationships there, and I don't have to do any work, really. I still do, because I have bills to pay, but that's all they're getting out of me.
It's goofy crap, though, when they hire somebody and tell you, be careful, so-and-so is that's the...
Yeah. You do have
manager's niece's daughter's sister's brother's dog groomer. Quit saying shit around her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's definitely there's the Cool Kids Club. There's actually probably several different cliques of them. Little cliques is just Cool Kids Club. They sort of isolate themselves from the rest of the organization.
Yeah,
and have to defend themselves from the prying eyes of the overwatching nuns.
Yeah, I don't know. I isolate myself from the rest of it. It's not my choice, but they put me in an office in the back that has no natural light. It's
Those
fun.
are the worst.
No, it's the best when the tours come out, because everybody's seen like NCIS and all this crap. I get out there and I tell them, like, every lab has a government issued creep. They're all praying for some little goth girl with stripy stockings and pigtails, but no, they got me.
Yeah,
I got busted because I was wearing my gas mask. I had a lot of stuff in the glue tank, and it can get pretty because.
Okay, what is a glue tank?
When you do fingerprint processing, the first thing you have to put it in this tank, and it heats up super glue, cyanoacrylate, which bonds to the lipids in people's oils that are on their hands.
Okay, I see.
And
you use it in fingerprint.
Yeah, it's a good base to put fingerprint powder on. It's the first step in almost every fingerprint processing technique that you have. And originally, like when I first started working there, the fingerprint tank was just an aquarium they had gotten from Walmart with a hot plate in it.
That's very Louisiana.
Put this aluminum foil boat full of super glue on it, and then cover it with a sheet of glass, set an egg timer, and come back. And
hey, but if it works, it works.
Hey, it worked really great. But now we have a real one.
Machine, yeah.
But even so, with the volume of stuff you do, there's a lot of glue vapor in there. And I used to wear this old Czechoslovakian surplus gas mask when I was in there. I
used to have a gas mask. I really wish I knew what happened to it.
This giant lab coat I've got. And I would wear it when I processed crap, and it looked horrifying.
Please tell me you had a tour come through while you were in
That's exactly what happened. People came through and wanted to look at it. And I was just in there like... Like, we're going to need you to...
You tell anyone you were their father?
No, I didn't. The thing is green. Nobody would have bought it. I looked like a terrible specter. My hair was pouring out of it. It was creepy as hell.
Sounds like fun.
It was a party all the time, but they told me to quit wearing it, so I quit wearing it. I wore it to an old scene where I was doing entomology collection and to pull some mag. I got a brilliant idea because I didn't smell a stink. One thing though, if you wear a gas mask, if you wear it for like longer than 10 minutes, after you take it off, you become very sensitive to the smells that are left. And if you prematurely remove it while you're still on scene, you want to kill yourself.
I imagine so, yeah.
Because it smells like a bag of burning buttholes, got somebody wiped their butt on it and then covered it in used Indian food.
Sounds delicious.
It's horrifying. It's not delicious at all. No, it's terrible. It's another one of those reasons you should be wary of Cajun food and any other culture.
I love my Cajun food.
Any culture whose food is predominant with spices is designed to cover up rotten ass meat.
Oh yeah, totally.
Cajun food, Indian food, Mexican food.
I had some curried goat when I was over in the UK. It was amazing.
That crap is rotten.
Oh, I know, but it was fall apart delicious. They let it rot for a little while and then stew it for about a week. You know, fish it up from the bottom of the pot and throw it back up there, reheat it in a microwave and toss it over the counter.
Jesus Christmas Christ.
It was great.
Yeah, you go up in Maine and hang a side of beef, you can keep it for the winter. You come down here and hang a side of beef, and it'll be denuded by insects in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, this is very true.
I've seen a dead guy be totally blown out with flies 2 hours after he kicked off.
Just a quick commercial. If you ever need to figure out where to bury a dead body, Jess's Dead Body Services.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one, yeah. Yeah, so if I ever need to hide a dead body, Jess, you're my favorite. I mean, I would never do such a thing. I would never. One
of the projects I did was just taking aerial photography data and just like, we found bodies here, 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 and here. This is why was that you?
No, it was you.
It was me. But no, it was gross. And it was really stupid because nobody believed that we found that many bodies laying around just in Lake Pontchartrain.
Wait, you have found the bodies? These weren't like donated cadavers?
No. It was a thing. I just pointed out on some aerial photographs.
Oh, you were pointing out the bodies.
That, goober places. Some dude threw a body wrapped in hefty bags off a boat launch.
Fun.
Which was hilarious because, it's in the water now, but he didn't take into effect that it was a boat launch. It was artificial. So it was just barely submerged. People could see it from the parking lot.
Well, I liked when they dredged the LSU lakes a couple of years ago, the amount of guns that they pulled up.
Oh, yeah, that's Party City over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's real easy because as you're driving over the interstate, over the LSU lakes, all you got to do is just toss it out the window.
Chuck it.
Yep.
It's another crazy thing. I talk about this all the time. Nobody believes, because they think, because I'm a liberal, that I'm after everybody's guns.
Oh, so am I. It's fine.
I'm not after everybody's gun. I would like there to be a registry, but I
love guns.
We have a national fingerprint database. Mm-hmm. We have a DNA database. We have
everybody should be in those if you have a gun, I think.
Bullet database. Yeah. We don't have a gun database. And so much of the crap we do is some low rent MacGyver shit to find out where these guns came from because we can't collate that information.
It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's double stupid.
Yeah, I'm all for guns. Guns are great. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, everybody should have to have a gun.
They're fantastic. However, you at least have a registry or something.
We should know. We should be able to show up at your house and be like, "Hey, somebody got shot with your gun. What were you doing with it yesterday? Maybe." And then some Gomer will be like, "I'm a sovereign citizen, Second Amendment, right? Can't be in free. I'm going up north to join Ammon Bundy."
No, my favorite is when they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Canada." It's like, well, Canada's very socialist.
Like, homie,
they're very liberal.
Because they think they're gonna go hunt bears on the mountain like Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
Because there's this myth that they want to try to pretend like they can ignore the fact that they're living in a place with 300 million people in it.
Yeah.
Like, this is my land right here. If I want to dig my own well and have lead pipes, why can't I do it? This is America. What's the matter with you, communists? Read The Jungle. I
love The Jungle.
If they could, they would pay you in orange peels and crab shells. Right. And they would quite happily feed you a dead cat disguised as filet mignon, and you don't know any better?
Right.
When was the last time you saw an actual filet? You couldn't tell me?
I agree.
People don't know any better.
That's why I'm kind of thinking about getting into hunting. I actually am really considering it.
What you want to hunt?
Deer, probably.
That's
Just
probably
my meat for the year.
More expensive than riding a motorcycle.
That's my fucking problem. Good God, is hunting expensive?
Yeah, my old man used to belong back in the day. They belonged to a hunting club where everybody just paid dues and they went in together and bought land that they could hunt on.
Even though the price is high, I think it's not as high as the price that I would be paying in dealing with the kind of people that like to hunt.
Oh God, no, it's not worth it.
That's my main deterrent, I think.
But people who had like these little combines where they went all in and bought some acreage to hunt on, you know what they did immediately? My
dad has offered me that.
They used the bylaws and sold it to loggers because it's just an economic reality that right now land and timber is worth eons more than any hunting due could ever possibly be.
Well, what do you think about this? A barrel of oil is now worth more or worth less than the actual barrel they would put it in.
Oh yeah, that's cuckoo pants, right?
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
Which is good for the world, but it's terrible for Louisiana because the cheaper oil is, because our state is pretty much an oil company.
Yeah, it all comes through us.
That happens to have a veneer of democracy put on it because whatever the oil people want to go down, they generally get it. That's what I tell myself about Bobby Jindal anyway. That's how I go to sleep.
He's an oil dude. Easy.
Because, you know, I'm always on the verge of going H.L. Mencken and spitting on my hands, raising the black flag, and starting to slit throats because the people responsible for that should be beaten with rods.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. Totally. I don't know. I have good days and bad days when it comes to my thoughts about whether or not we'll survive as a human species. Oh, yeah, sometimes I have hope, sometimes not so much.
No, I'm gonna bet on people. I always do.
You're all in for Team People?
Mainly because we are just some bastards.
We are some bastards. I agree with that. I definitely think that do you think there's a large die-off of us coming, or that we're overdue for one?
No, I don't think so. No, I think, well, like, from an economic standpoint, like a Malthusian famine coming and wiping out a whole bunch of people, I don't think so. Norman Borlaug kind of went off on that. Do I think people are going to, with the globalization of the world economy, a lot of stuff like, you know, the Pakistani economy and the Chinese economy are starting to level out. And when you're at the 200 pounds of butter annually American economy starting to get averaged out with people who collect and sell plastic bags in Bangladesh for a living, everybody's like, America's going to shit. It's not. It's the world economy getting in touch with itself all at once, and all the cheap labor that was previously cut off by geographic forms and geopolitical problems is now starting to get in on the game. Right. And nobody wants to buy a planned obsolescence American vehicle.
But aren't those fun, Jess? Don't you like?
Buying
a $10,000 shit box.
It adds an element of adventure to my day when I wonder if I'm going to get rear-ended and burst into a napalm fireball.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, I think. Or maybe my gas pedal is stick and I'll wind up going 120 down the interstate.
Like, I hope I don't shoot this thing like a silver comet into a crowd of pedestrians. Lord knows that's a possibility because the only elevated land is 200 miles from here.
That is very true.
Yep.
I liked there was a recent study that came out that showed even a Category 3 hurricane, like where our floodwaters would be. And here in Baton Rouge, we would get, if it was well aimed, we would get anywhere from 6 to 8 feet of water in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. We do it all the time. You ever been down?
Oh, I've been down, was it Corporate? During
a
rainstorm?
Drainage.
It's a river.
We
it's
live on a concrete plate.
Yeah.
This is a city built on a concrete plate balanced on a methane pocket in a swamp. It's ridiculous. The highest point in Louisiana is barely 500 feet above sea level. They call it a mountain. In Idaho, I have seen slag heaps higher up than that.
I know people that have come down from up north and stayed here for a little while, and they have trouble breathing because the air is so thick. Like, because we're so low. Like, it's just, the air is real thick. And that's one thing I am looking forward to about potentially moving up north. I just don't have
I don't know. We had a bro in my office that moved down here from Minnesota, and he complained that the water was so soft as opposed to the silicone juice that they have in Minnesota. He said he felt like he was bathing in Elmer's glue. Couldn't get it off his skin.
Well, I do feel like that sometimes.
It's everywhere. Humidity's in triple digits. I tell people if you throw a fish on the sidewalk, it'll cook before it drowns.
That's true.
No, it's stupid.
It might actually, flop off and swim away on some days here. You walk outside, it feels like somebody just doused you in a bucket of warm water. It's just ridiculous.
It'll trigger some people's agoraphobia, like folks who come from cities, places with mountains, come down here and see all that flatness. Yep. It's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable now I'm talking about.
I like that my kids will see, they'll see hills. Like we go anywhere in Mississippi or something like they see hills and like, oh, look at the mountains. It's like, yeah, those aren't mountains. Those aren't mountains. I'm going to show you mountains.
That's a dirt pile.
Yeah, that's a little bit of dirt. That's nothing.
They moved that over because they were building the Zaxby's there. That's a dirt pile.
Yeah, or sending pictures of like the Basin Bridge to people. It just stretches on until it reaches the horizon.
Nobody believes that either. The spillway.
Oh, yeah.
They thought they were. That is the longest bridge over water in the world right there. Pontchartrain Spillway.
It's ridiculous.
It is also a hot spot for corpse disposal.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Just huck it off the spillway. It moves fast enough. Gators will tear it up.
I imagine so. That seems like a good idea.
Because this is, with the humidity and the insects and all the fauna.
So what do you think? Do you bury a body or do you feed it to the gators?
Bury it.
Bury it?
We'll find the bones. Gators will hawk it up. Also, gators have this thing where they tuck stuff away because they like to eat it when it's rotten.
True. Yeah.
Because they have these incredibly...
They like to age it.
They have these incredibly powerful mouths that close, but they don't open well. So they can't really chew. They have to take it whole, so they let it rot a little bit, and so it'll slough off of the bone. Yeah. And then they'll just yank it off. So we can find crap like that laying around in gator nests all the time. And just bury it. Nobody's going to look for it.
Don't you have such an interesting life, Jess?
Oh, yeah. It's magical. 20% dead people, 80% paperwork.
Sounds fascinating.
But that's pretty much what it is.
Well, even like my job when I was an ethical hacker, like it's probably the most interesting job I've ever done, but it was like maybe 15% of what I did was the actual hacking piece, and the rest of it was just all documentation, paperwork, and presentations. And good God, is that miserable.
Yeah, but that's what it is nowadays, though, because all of our modern policing, the heart of it really is records. Because back in the day, I did a paper on this for an anthropology class I was doing. We were talking about technology and the law. But back in the day, we were talking about England's bloody code, where they're just like, okay, what'd you do? Stole a handkerchief? That's a hanging. You rape somebody? Hanging. Fist fight? Hanging. You know what? Hanging. Hanging for everybody.
Just a hanging across the board.
Not a lot of people actually got hung because the Bailey or the constable knew who you were. So somebody's chicken went missing. He went and found old Tom, the chicken diddler, and kicked his ass, got the chicken back, and that was all anybody said about it.
Chicken may need a cold shower and ice cream afterward.
Yeah, but it was pretty much the constable was aggregation of the town's criminal data. Nowadays, we have giant databases of criminal data, and the fact is, the reason that we have such a low crime rate as we have right now is because because
abortion is legal.
One reason. But the odds of you going out in the street, like say me and you, going out to the interstate and setting up where there's a really bad pothole and pushing a hand cart out in the street, stopping somebody and then rifling through their purse while they're trying to get through the traffic. Like, well, whip your ass. It's a trap. It doesn't work because somebody will come out there. Yeah. They have a camera.
Exactly.
There's a camera on the interstate. They'll see us. They'll find a license plate. We don't have a license plate. We'll get stopped by the police. The surveillance is too great because we are as close. We get closer and closer to a panopticon.
So how do you feel about, I guess, government surveillance into people's everyday lives?
I'm for it.
I don't give a shit. Like, I really don't care.
I am the last human alive that says if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. Everybody's got something to hide.
Right.
It's a joke on the internet. Everybody's got a friend whose job it is, if you die in an accident, burst into my house and burn my hard drive. Yeah, exactly. Burn it.
Kill my computer, please.
I don't want anybody to see that because you're sitting at home by yourself and you're wondering, I wonder what it would look like. And then 20 minutes later, you're staring down the barrel of a distended grundle. Like, that's what a prolapse looks like.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Rosebuds are amazing. I'm just fucking with you. I'm disappointed in myself for even knowing what that is.
I'm not judging.
That's fine.
But that's the point. Everybody's got, no big deal. I think people should get less weird about that kind of crap. But in terms of people want to act like the government is this man, like this cigarette smoking man who knows that aliens are real.
I don't think they're that intelligent.
And he's waiting to crawl up your ass. But that's not it. The government is a harried librarian trying to collate and dispatch a sea of resources that people are scrapping over all the time. And it's less this epic struggle against a faceless dictator that's, coming to rape your wife and salt your fields.
The Illuminati, man. They're watching you watch porn.
Yeah,
you're that interesting.
Want to see it. Because, how many people are subscribed to Pornhub right now?
Everyone that I know of.
Almost every living human.
My wife is subscribed to Pornhub.
They're watching. Like, you're going
A.
to hold that up and blackmail somebody?
Yeah, who cares?
People comment on porn videos, man. It's mainstream.
Yeah, I like that there's a Facebook share button.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like, I came so good from that. I think I need to share that on Facebook.
And people put that in there just to put the fear of God in you, that you'll
accidentally
lose control of your clicking hand and share that. Send that to your grandma for Christmas.
I think it's
Take
brilliant.
that. You send me that goddamn chicken soup from the soul shit one more time.
One of the things I love reading on the internet is like dudes that accidentally send their moms like dick pics and stuff like that. It's so good. It's so good. So you see why a cringe video with Daniel would be amazing.
Oh my God, it would be so. I would need so much.
I gotta have you on. I've gotta have you on when it's gotta be all three of us.
Shit faced beforehand.
Of course, you're gonna have to bring in that one. There's no other way.
I wouldn't make it. But no, the government is not coming to deflower your wife. There is no prima nocta. They're trying to figure out.
Sounds like fun if I was a king.
They're trying. Well, of course, it's good to be the king if you have the option. Sure, why not? But it's just a dude trying to figure out how to get 18-wheelers from one state to the other without killing 13 people in the carpool lane.
Also effectively to make as much money for profit as possible.
And it works.
It does.
When you have people who are like, okay, we have a problem, let's try to solve it, versus team, we have a problem, let's try to solve it, fighting team, government is the devil and quite possibly the embodiment of Satan on earth, here to reap our souls before the rapture.
Yeah, that's about how I see it.
Like, get real about your life.
No, I think I don't think that I don't have this idea that corporations are some big evil monster. That's
they're totally evil monsters.
I do think they're evil monsters in that people are forced to subject themselves. They're wage slaves, pretty much, is the idea behind that I'm barking at, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But I don't like. I guess because I find myself there in that. I've just recently in 25 to 30 figured out the thing that I want to do, or the thing I want to pursue, and can't do that. I'm trapped very handily in the corporate fucking grinder.
Yeah.
There's no way I can escape that.
But yeah, and folks act like there's competition today. Like, why don't you, if you're so poor, why don't you start your own business?
Right.
And get rich like Donald Trump?
Why don't you just go get you a job?
Well, you do that. Look, any tiny business, their goal is to have an exit strategy. Like, how can we make a big business want to buy this so I can make my $2.1 million and retire?
Exactly.
You're not going to, somebody's going to raise up an information system to rival Google. Get real about your life. It's not going to happen. Exactly. Google already runs almost every piece of information technology in the United States government is run by Google.
I agree.
And that's what I say when I'm a communist. I just think that we should, make those kind of things turn their profit towards the good of the state instead of 6 people so they can buy old Rembrandts and new and exciting hoodies.
That's my argument against the whole 1%. They're like, oh, well, they're going to tax them 90%. So look at our past. Look at when this nation was great. Look at the tax rate for that top 1%. It's like 85, 90%.
And even then...
And we were doing awesome, and it's because we were using that money to make ourselves better. We're investing in ourselves.
And even then, they can take that 10% of that money and still ejaculate diamonds into the face of a stripper.
Right.
It's not... the rate... What are you going to tell me? What job is worth that?
Right.
Like, what job did you do? Because I know a lot of people work, break their backs doing manual labor, doing hard crap, and then they have to go to another night job.
Of course.
To have enough to eat.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
That is a ridiculous idea. I've always been a proponent of there should be a livable wage for everyone. If you spend 8 hours a day doing something, I'm not saying that every job should have this same pay rate, then there shouldn't be some sort of motivation to move out of lower end jobs. But if all you're capable of doing, because there are people out there that are only capable of doing those jobs, that's fine. It still needs to be a livable wage. People need to be able to provide for themselves and for their family with that job.
The world needs pipe fitters and ditch diggers too.
Exactly. So I don't see there's no valid argument to me that increasing the pay rate or whatever is gonna cause us to lose jobs, and maybe, but I don't know. I also see it in the future sort of an end to the necessity for jobs. We seem to be turning everything to robotics,
phasing that crap out.
Right. So it's like eventually, I think it's wonderful, but eventually we're not going to have jobs because the robots will just do everything for us because that's why we make them.
And that's when Fallout 4 happens.
Yeah, something crazy is going to
That's what I want to see. Fallout 5, Baton Rouge, make it happen.
Well, that zombie thing they did not too long ago, I really wanted to go do that.
No, I don't know. What are you talking about?
So they did a zombie thing where I think they were filming for some show, and so they made this big film set that's supposed to be this zombie apocalypse sort of set. There's a big set of several blocks downtown. And what they did is they opened it up to the public to do like a zombie game. So you have the zombies and the humans, and you have to survive for so long. And they did that for I forget how many rounds they did. It was like 5 or 6. But you could go there and you pay, and you'd either be a zombie or not a zombie, and you'd have to survive in this area. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does. They did something like that in San Diego in the Padres Stadium. I didn't do it, but it was weird. I just had to walk by. I didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
And I was just walking around, and I was hearing these god-awful screams and moans coming from like 2 blocks over, and I was like,
the fuck
either there's been a terrorist attack or somebody just got real excited about a promotional. And then I went, they took the entire baseball stadium in downtown San Diego and turned it into a zombie run.
Or an orgy. Could have been an orgy, Jeff.
Zombie orgy.
Even better.
Skin slippage. That's disgusting.
Ew, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah. But pretty much right now we're in a battle between forces who think that the state is an aggregation of wills and units that has a goal. We're trying to keep people from not dying.
I think we're a bunch of idiots who have no fucking idea what we're doing.
Well, absolutely not, which is why we need to put people who do know what they're doing in charge. Because look at any human person during the day. Just tell yourself that person's vote has the same weight that yours does. And if a vein in your forehead doesn't start to pulse...
Yeah. I've worked customer service, and if you haven't, do yourself a favor and do it, at least for a little while.
Do yourself a favor.
Learn a little bit about your common
just
man.
Imagine it and don't do it.
Just imagine it.
Because there is a real non-zero risk that you will harm yourself or others.
This is very true. They tried to... I remember when I worked at a computer repair shop, a fairly large chain... I think they're closed now. But they tried to take away smoking from the tech shop guys. And we're like, no. We're going to go outside and we're going to have a cigarette, and there's not fuck all you can do about it. Because if we don't, the next person that walks up to my counter, I'm going to jump across the counter and fucking choke them out for being so fucking stupid. That I'm just that disappointed in humanity.
They're just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the people that we would get, just every time we thought we'd see someone dumb, they'd send us a new one, and they would just blow us away with how dumb they could possibly be.
Oh my God, I could tell you some stories about police officers who have mailed just ridiculous garbage. We had somebody that the first time I saw it, they put on an evidence form that they were turning in a burglary. Which, yeah, whatever. They're filling out a lot of paperwork. They got to do it. It's letter transposition.
It might be
I've
3
done
in the morning.
that.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge somebody. The 5th time it happened, I realized this motherfucker doesn't know how to spell the word burglary.
Right.
And they
police
put
officer.
you in prison.
Yeah,
You will go to jail
prison.
behind this bro, can't spell burglary, is going to pull you over and talk to you like a little boy.
From I hear from my uncle, it's really difficult for them to hire quality policemen.
Oh, yeah.
Because they get them in, and it's just like, for fuck's sake, they're all idiots, but we need to hire for 3 positions. What are we going to do?
Recently, I got to participate in a police academy, a cadet class. They had this thing where a bunch of us from the offices went over, and we all got shit-faced. They measured us.
That sounds amazing.
Alcohol. They were like, so-and-so, 2 ounces, light rum.
That job. I want that job.
And then we had
get
to
hammered. They
we
will
had
run
to
tests
sign
on
out
you.
our drinks, and we had to get shit-faced, and then the police came in.
Please tell me you were on the clock for this.
Oh, absolutely.
The state has paid you to get shit-faced.
This is important. This is important training
That is
aid.
very important training.
Police came in. We got to lie to them about being drunk because we were doing
Nice.
the breathalyzer and we were various things.
So they had to determine who was drunk?
We got to take the drunk. All we did for 2 hours, we drank for 6 hours, then took drunk tests for 2. I was staring into pen caps, and I just talked so much shit to them people.
Of course.
It's funny. It's like, sir, put your legs together. Look at the pen. Put your legs together. Closer than that. Just put them together, sir. Put your I'm like, it's part of this test. See if I'm drunk enough to listen to you make me crush my own nuts, because I ain't falling for it, cop. I smell bacon.
That's one thing I desperately want, is one day to have a friend in the car that doesn't know my uncle, and I want my uncle to pull me over, because I'm going to fuck with them so hard. It's going to be so good. I really,
It's
really
funny.
want
Your
that.
uncle's going to
piggy.
your uncle's going to shoot you.
He probably will.
He will
yes.
shoot you.
Yeah, he will. Knowing my uncle, yes.
He's like, today's the opportunity.
Well, Daniel told him about him getting thrown up against the car, right? They were at a movie theater. My uncle likes to fuck with us every time he sees us at the movie theater. So he's sitting there throwing ice at Daniel. And Daniel sees him and walks over to him and pushes him. Well, his partner doesn't know that my uncle and my cousin Daniel are related. So he immediately grabs Daniel, who is not a small guy, by the way, and like throws him up against the car. He's got him in an arm bar. And my uncle's like, whoa, calm the fuck down. Whereas this guy, his partner's about to beat the shit out of him. And so, yeah, that was... That's got to be fun times.
Police.
Yeah.
Not even once.
See, they make me nervous as fuck, even when I've done nothing wrong or I have nothing on me or anything like that. They just make me nervous because they have the power to royally fuck me. And it's just, I don't want anything to do with that.
They are looking for an excuse to do it, too,
yes,
Jack.
especially the ones in denim, because they're bored. Those are the worst
oh, yeah,
ones.
that
ones.
poor ginger sumbitch drives up and down the street. It's always in the Waffle House. All he did, but he didn't think he was going to be there at 62 cutting traffic tickets.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like out all the things you could have done with your life.
Fun times.
America,
fuck yeah. World police.
Yeah, you want another one of them?
Yeah, if you got it, I'll do one more. I think.
I surely do.
I've got to pee, so consider this a piss break.
All right.